The ultimatum. Captain Maya Rice stood at the observation deck of the ISV Horizon, Earth's first and finest interstellar diplomatic vessel. The massive crystalline structure of the Galactic Council headquarters loomed before her, its translucent spires catching the light of 3 distant suns. Despite the breathtaking view, Maya felt only tension coiling in her stomach. This was humanity's first official audience with the Council, the culmination of 5 years of careful communication since first contact. "Nervous, Captain?" asked Dr. Julian Chen, Earth's leading xenolinguist and her second-in-command for this mission. "Wouldn't you be?" Maya replied, her dark eyes never leaving the approaching station. 57 advanced civilizations waiting to judge whether we're worthy of joining their ranks. The fate of humanity hanging on one diplomatic meeting. Julian straightened his uniform and nodded. "They've been watching us for decades, you know. Long before the Aryan ship crashed in the Pacific. They'd had plenty of time to form their opinions." Maya finally turned to him, her expression hardening. "That's what worries me." The Horizon docked with a gentle shudder. Maya led her team of 12 scientists, diplomats, and 2 military advisors through the airlock. The reception area was filled with beings of all descriptions, some vaguely humanoid, others defying any terrestrial classification. A tall, willowy creature with iridescent skin approached them. "I am Venra, Council Liaison. Welcome to Harmony Station, representatives of Earth." Its voice came through their translation devices with a musical quality. "The High Council awaits you in the Grand Chamber." As they were escorted through vast corridors, Maya cataloged everything with a soldier's eye. Despite retiring from the Earth Defense Force to lead this diplomatic mission, 15 years of military service had ingrained certain habits. She noted defensive positions, security measures, and the subtle but unmistakable presence of weapon systems integrated into the station's architecture. The Grand Chamber was a colossal amphitheater, with tiered seating arranged in a perfect circle. At its center stood a lone platform, the petitioner's stand. Representatives from dozens of species filled the chamber, their combined murmuring creating an ocean of sound that died away as the Earth delegation entered. "Remain calm and confident," Maya whispered to her team as they approached the central platform. "Remember your training." A deep tone resonated through the chamber, and a massive being with 4 arms and skin like polished obsidian rose from the highest tier. "I am High Counselor Drax of the Vorn Hegemony, current speaker for the Galactic Council," it announced, voice echoing without need of amplification. "Captain Maya Rice, you stand before us as the voice of Earth. We have monitored your civilization for 127 of your years. We have observed your wars, your technological advancement, your cultural evolution. Today we shall render judgment." Maya stepped forward, head held high. "High Counselor, honored representatives, we come before you with respect and..." "Respect," interrupted a harsh voice from her left. A reptilian being with scales that shifted colors like oil on water leaned forward. "You humans speak of respect while your planet remains divided, armed to destroy itself a dozen times over. Your united government barely controls your military factions." "Counselor Screeth," Maya responded, having memorized all key council members from briefings. "Humanity has made tremendous progress in global cooperation since first contact." "Our progress," another voice cut in, this one belonging to a being composed of what appeared to be living crystal. "In the 5 years since discovering you are not alone in the cosmos, your military spending has increased by 46%. Maya felt her diplomatic script crumbling before her eyes. This wasn't going according to plan. High Counselor Drax raised a hand for silence. "Captain Rice, the Council has deliberated extensively regarding Earth's petition for recognition. Our decision is unanimous." Maya straightened, bracing herself. "Earth will not be granted membership status, nor observer status, within the Galactic Council." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Maya maintained her composure despite the crushing disappointment. "We understand, High Counselor. While disappointed, we respect the Council's decision and hope that continued diplomatic relations will eventually. You misunderstand, Drax continued, voice growing colder. The Council has determined that humanity represents an unacceptable threat to galactic stability. Your species combines technological ingenuity with aggressive territorial instincts at a level unprecedented among spacefaring civilizations. The chamber fell silent. Maya felt her blood run cold. Earth is hereby given an ultimatum. Dismantle all military capabilities beyond those necessary for basic planetary defense, submit to permanent Council oversight, and accept limitations on technological development in fields deemed potentially destabilizing. You have 60 Earth days to comply. Julian stepped forward. And if we refuse these terms? A new figure rose, an ethereal being of swirling gas contained within a mechanical shell. Then Earth will be deemed a rogue civilization, and appropriate measures will be taken to neutralize the threat. Neutralize? Maya's voice remained steady despite her shock. Are you threatening Earth with extinction? We are offering you salvation. Drax replied. Your species has potential, but your aggression must be contained. This is not negotiable. Maya looked around the chamber, seeking any sign of support, finding none. No, wait. There was something. A small being with large, luminous eyes and skin the color of twilight watched her with an expression Maya couldn't quite identify. Not hostility, but calculation. I request time to consult with my government, Maya said finally. You have 48 hours to provide an initial response, Drax declared. The full compliance deadline remains at 60 days. As the Earth delegation was escorted back to their ship, Maya's mind raced. This wasn't just a diplomatic setback, it was an existential threat. Back aboard the Horizon, the team gathered in the secure conference room. They can't be serious, said Colonel Vargas, one of the military advisors, demanding we essentially disarm our entire planet. Oh, they're deadly serious, replied Ambassador Katu, her face ashen. I've studied enough of their cultural records to know the Council does not bluff. Could we stall for time? Asked Dr. Abernathy, the team's cynobiologist. Appear cooperative while building our defenses. Maya shook her head. Their monitoring capabilities are far beyond ours. They'd know. Julian, who had been silent since returning, finally spoke. We need to understand what appropriate measures means. Are we talking about a blockade, targeted strikes, or something capable of planetary extinction? Either way, Maya said grimly, Earth needs to know. She established a quantum communication link with Earth Command, technology reverse-engineered from the Aryan crash site. General Diane Chen's face appeared on the screen, her expression grim before Maya even began reporting. Captain Rice, I take it the meeting didn't go well. That's an understatement, General. We've been issued an ultimatum that amounts to planetary surrender. Maya detailed the Council's demands and deadline. The General's face hardened as she listened. The Security Council is already in emergency session. Our deep space monitoring detected unusual activity around several Council facilities hours ago. It seems they anticipated our refusal. What's our response, General? Stand by for official orders, but unofficially. Earth will not bow to threats, Captain. We've spent the last 5 years preparing for first contact to go either way. Operation Phoenix is now active. Maya felt both dread and a surge of pride. Earth had hoped for peaceful integration, but prepared for the worst. Return to Earth immediately, ordered General Chen. But first, see if you can identify any potential allies on that station. We'll need every advantage. After ending the transmission, Maya turned to find Julian watching her intently. Did you notice the Elysian representative during the session? He asked. The small one with the twilight skin. I did. Maya nodded. It seemed different from the others. The Elysians were one of the last species admitted to the Council. Julian explained. There are rumors they've chafed under Council authority. A soft chime interrupted them. An incoming communication request on a private channel. Maya exchanged glances with Julian before accepting. the twilight-skinned being appeared on screen. Captain Rice, I am Thola, representative of Elysia. We must speak with utmost discretion. I'm listening, Maya replied cautiously. The Council's decision was not as unanimous as claimed. Several younger species opposed these measures but were overruled. What you face is the fear of the elder races, those who have dominated the Council for millennia. Fear of what, exactly? Your potential, your adaptability. Most species take thousands of years to advance from atmospheric flight to space travel. You did it in decades. The Elders project that at your current rate of advancement, humans would surpass their technological level within 2 centuries. They find this unacceptable. And you're telling me this why? Maya asked, though she suspected the answer. Because Elysia remembers what it is to be judged and found wanting. We were forced to accept similar restrictions a century ago. We have regretted our compliance ever since. Maya leaned forward. Are you offering help? I am offering information. The Council has already mobilized the enforcement fleet. They anticipate your refusal. But their greatest weapons require time to position. You have perhaps 30 days, not 60, before they can launch a full-scale attack. Why should I trust you? Maya asked. Thala's large eyes blinked slowly. Because rebellion benefits us both, Captain. The Elders' grip must be broken eventually. Perhaps humanity will be the catalyst. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Maya and Julian staring at each other. Well, Julian said after a moment. At least we know where we stand. Yes, Maya replied, mind already racing with possibilities. And now we know we're not entirely alone. 2 days later, the horizon approached Earth. Maya stood again at the observation window, watching her home planet grow larger. Beautiful, vulnerable, and now threatened. Earth's response to the Council ultimatum had been diplomatically worded but unmistakable in its defiance. As they entered orbit, Maya could see the evidence of Operation Phoenix coming to life. Orbital defense platforms previously disguised as research stations were activating. Ships that had officially been listed as deep space explorers were returning to defensive positions. Earth was preparing for war against an enemy with technology centuries beyond their own. The odds were overwhelming. But as Maya watched the coordinated activity below, she felt a fierce pride. If the Council thought humanity would surrender without a fight, they were about to learn how wrong they were. Humanity had never backed down from a challenge. And now, facing the greatest threat in its history, Earth was about to show the galaxy exactly what humans were capable of when pushed too far. The war for Earth's survival was about to begin. Defiance unleashed. The first attack came at dawn, 3 weeks after Earth's refusal of the Council's ultimatum. Captain Maya Rice stood in Earth Defense Command's underground war room, watching as red warning icons bloomed across the tactical display. The massive holographic projection of Earth hung in the center of the room, surrounded by frantic activity as officers relayed orders and coordinated defenses. Multiple dimensional ruptures detected, announced Commander Rodriguez from the sensor station. Council ships emerging in high orbit. Count is over 200 vessels and climbing. General Chen's face remained impassive, but Maya could see the tension in her shoulders. Status of Phoenix Shield. Online and holding, replied the Defense Systems officer. First wave of enemy weapons fire intercepted successfully. On the tactical display, tiny flashes of light showed where Earth's hastily deployed energy barrier was absorbing incoming fire. The shield technology, reverse-engineered from the Aryan ship and enhanced by human innovation, was holding, but for how long? They're testing our capabilities, Maya observed, studying the attack pattern. This isn't their full force. Julian Chen approached with a data tablet. Intercepted communications confirm it. This is the Vanguard fleet, mostly Vorn and Teract vessels. Maya nodded grimly. The Council was starting with the militaristic species. Any sign of Elysian ships? None. Julian confirmed quietly. At least our potential ally isn't directly participating in the attack. A sudden alarm blared as new warnings flashed across the display. Multiple shield breaches in Sectors 7 and 12. Rodriguez called out. They're targeting our major population centers. New York, Shanghai, Lagos. Deploy interceptors, General Chen ordered, and activate the ground-based defensive grid. Maya watched as Earth's fighter squadrons launched to engage the enemy. The smaller, more nimble human craft darted between the massive Council vessels, using their superior maneuverability to avoid enemy fire. But for every Council ship they managed to damage, 2 human fighters disappeared in brilliant flashes of light. We're outgunned, Maya stated flatly. How long until Phase 2 is ready? General Chen's eyes met hers. 68 hours if we're lucky. Dr. Takahashi needs more time. Time we don't have, Maya replied. She turned to study the tactical map again, mind racing. What about the Artemis Protocol? The room fell silent. The Artemis Protocol was considered a desperate last resort, using Earth's FTL-capable ships in kamikaze attacks against the larger Council vessels. General Chen's expression darkened. That's not an option I'm willing to consider yet, Captain. With respect, General, we need to buy those 68 hours. The Artemis Protocol could give us that time. Before the General could respond, new alarms sounded. Enemy dropships detected entering atmosphere, Rodriguez reported. Multiple landing zones identified across Europe, Asia, and North America. The first ground invasion of Earth had begun. Over the next 48 hours, the situation deteriorated rapidly. Council forces established beachheads in key locations, deploying technology that Earth's military had no effective counter for. Casualty reports flooded in from around the globe. Maya hadn't slept in nearly 3 days when the summons came to join a classified briefing in the deepest level of the command bunker. She found General Chen waiting with a small group that included Julian and an elderly Japanese man she recognized as Dr. Hiroshi Takahashi, Earth's foremost quantum physicist. Captain Reyes, the General acknowledged. What I'm about to share is known to fewer than 20 people on Earth. It's time you join that number. The lights dimmed, and a holographic projection appeared, not of Earth this time, but of what appeared to be a weapon system unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Operation Phoenix was never just about defensive measures, General Chen explained. From the moment we recovered the Aryan ship, we've been working on something else, something that gives us a fighting chance. She nodded to Dr. Takahashi. The elderly scientist stepped forward. What you are looking at is the Phoenix Array, a network of quantum-entangled particles dispersed throughout our solar system over the past 5 years. Dispersed how? Maya asked. With every probe, every satellite, every ship we've launched since first contact, the General answered, each carrying a small payload of entangled particles. Dr. Takahashi continued, the Council species use dimensional folding for their FTL travel, creating temporary wormholes. Our technology differs fundamentally from theirs. The Phoenix Array exploits this difference. The hologram shifted to show what looked like a web of glowing filaments surrounding Earth and extending throughout the solar system. When activated, Takahashi explained, the array will generate a quantum resonance field that disrupts their dimensional folding technology. Their ships will be unable to create stable wormholes within our solar system. Maya's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. We'll cut off their reinforcements and their retreat. Exactly, confirmed General Chen. And the ships already here will find their weapons systems compromised as well. Many of their advanced weapons rely on similar dimensional principles. Why haven't we activated it already? Julian asked the question Maya was thinking. Takahashi's expression turned grave. The array requires an immense amount of power, and once activated, we cannot shut it down without destroying the entire network. Also, he hesitated. Also, there may be unforeseen consequences to creating a quantum resonance field of this magnitude. General Chen finished for him. We're venturing into theoretical territory. Maya studied the hologram. When will it be ready? 20 hours, Takahashi replied. But the Council forces are advancing rapidly. We need to hold them off long enough to complete the final calibrations. That's where you come in, Captain, said General Chen. We need a specialized strike team to disrupt the Council's forward command post in the Rocky Mountains. Intelligence suggests it's coordinating their ground operations in North America. Maya straightened. I volunteer. I thought you might, the general said with the ghost of a smile. Select your team. You deploy in 3 hours. 16 hours later, Maya crouched behind a ridge overlooking the Council command post, a massive structure that had been assembled with alarming speed in what used to be a national park. Her team of 12 Special Forces operatives was scattered in concealed positions around the perimeter. Multiple species inside, reported Lieutenant Quan through the secure comlink. Primarily Vorn and Teract, as expected. Security systems are unlike anything we've encountered before. Then we stick to the plan, Maya replied. Overload their systems with the EMP devices, then breach during the confusion. She checked the specialized weapon at her side, a prototype developed based on Council technology that fired concentrated pulses of energy rather than physical projectiles. They had exactly 3 hours to disrupt this command post before the Phoenix array activated. On my mark, Maya ordered, setting the timer on the first EMP device. 3, 2, 1, mark. Simultaneous electromagnetic pulses detonated around the compound. The alien security systems flickered momentarily, just long enough for Maya's team to move in. What followed was the most intense combat Maya had ever experienced. The Vorn soldiers were massive and heavily armored, while the Teract moved with uncanny speed. Without their specialized weapons, Maya's team would have been annihilated in minutes. They fought their way to the central command chamber, taking losses along the way. 4 of her team were down by the time they reached their objective. Inside the chamber, a Vorn commander turned to face them, flanked by guards. The massive alien's 4 arms each held a different weapon. Humans, it rumbled through a translator. Your resistance is illogical. The Council has stood for 50,000 years. Your civilization has barely existed for 5,000. That's your mistake, Maya replied, raising her weapon. You think age equals superiority. We think differently. The ensuing firefight was brief and brutal. When it ended, Maya was wounded. 3 more of her team were dead, but the Vorn commander lay motionless on the floor. Lieutenant Quan quickly began accessing the alien command systems. I'm in, he announced after tense minutes of work. Uploading the virus now. The virus, designed based on information secretly provided by their Elysian contact, would scramble the Council forces' coordination for critical hours. As the compound systems began to fail around them, Maya ordered the survivors to withdraw. Command, this is Reyes, she reported once they were clear. Mission accomplished. What's the status of Phoenix? General Chen's voice came through with unusual emotion. The array is ready, Captain. Get to the extraction point immediately. Things are about to change. From orbit, the activation of the Phoenix array would have appeared as nothing more than a faint shimmer around Earth, like heat rising from summer pavement. But its effects were immediate and devastating. Throughout the solar system, Council ships suddenly found themselves unable to communicate with their fleet. Weapons systems failed. Attempted retreats through dimensional portals resulted in catastrophic energy discharges. The massive enforcement fleet that had been preparing to enter Earth's system found their dimensional drives simply wouldn't engage. On Earth's surface, Council ground forces found themselves suddenly cut off from orbital support. Their advanced energy weapons began malfunctioning, some exploding in their wielders' hands. In the war room, Maya watched the tactical display with a sense of awe as blue icons representing human forces began pushing back the red of the Council troops. It's working, Julian breathed beside her. They're in disarray. General Chen nodded solemnly. And now we execute Phase 3. Earth's counterattack was swift and merciless. The Council forces, accustomed to overwhelming technological superiority, found themselves facing a species that had spent most of its history fighting against the odds. Human forces adapted quickly to the changed battlefield conditions, using conventional weapons where advanced ones failed. Within 48 hours, most of the Council ground forces had been captured or eliminated. Their stranded ships in orbit were systematically disabled by Earth's suddenly effective weapons platforms. 1 week after the activation of the Phoenix Array, Maya stood in a hastily constructed meeting facility in Geneva. Before her was an unusual gathering. The commanders of the defeated Council forces alongside representatives from 3 species that had broken from the Council to support Earth: the Elysians, the Rodan, and the XL Car. Thala, the Elysian representative, approached Maya before the formal talks began. "Captain Reyes," the alien said with something like respect, "you have accomplished what many thought impossible. The Council has never suffered such a defeat in recorded history." "We had help," Maya acknowledged. "Your information was crucial." Thala's skin rippled with color, an Elysian expression of satisfaction. "The balance of power has shifted. The elder races no longer dictate to all. Already, 12 more species have announced their withdrawal from Council authority. And the threat to Earth? Neutralized for now. The remaining Council forces cannot approach your system while your Phoenix Array remains active. They have no choice but to negotiate." Julian joined them, data tablet in hand. "The Vorn commander has agreed to our terms. Full withdrawal of all Council forces, recognition of Earth's independence, and reparations for the damage caused." Maya nodded slowly. "And our demands regarding Council reforms." "That will take time," Thala admitted. "But with the coalition of younger species now forming around Earth, change is inevitable." The formal negotiations proceeded smoothly, the defeated Council representatives having little choice but to accept Earth's surprisingly merciful terms. No demands for surrender of territory or technology. Only recognition, reparations, and reform. As the session concluded, the Vorn commander approached Maya directly, an unprecedented gesture from a species known for its rigid hierarchy. "You could have destroyed us all," the massive alien stated bluntly. "Your Phoenix Array gave you that power, yet you offer peace." "That's not our way," Maya replied simply. "We fought because we had to, not because we wanted to." The Vorn made a sound that Maya's translator didn't catch. The elders called humans dangerous. They were correct, but for the wrong reasons. You are dangerous not because you are warlike, but because you change everything you touch. The galaxy will never be the same. 3 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Earth flagship, Defiance. Beside her was Julian, now an official ambassador to the emerging coalition of independent species. Beyond the viewport, construction was underway on a massive station in Earth orbit, the headquarters of what was being called the Galactic Alliance, a new political entity formed in opposition to the traditional Council. "Did you ever think," Julian asked quietly, "when we first set out on the horizon, that it would end like this?" Maya watched as a delegation of Elysian ships approached the station. "Not in my wildest dreams. We went seeking acceptance and found our strength instead." "The Council still exists," Julian reminded her. "The elder races haven't given up on restoring their dominance." "Let them try," Maya replied with quiet confidence. "Earth stands ready. And this time, we're not alone." As the Elysian ships docked with the station, Maya reflected on the incredible journey of the past months. Earth had faced extinction and emerged not just survivors, but leaders. The species that had been deemed too dangerous to join galactic society had instead reshaped it. The Galactic Council had intended to contain humanity's potential. Instead, they had unleashed it. And the galaxy would never be the same again.